Well, hello everyone. I need to sit up in my seat. And I also need to turn the light on. Whoopsie. We are here and we are live. Let's get the background music going, courtesy of UFD Music Tech Blacksmith in the house. What's up? Good to see you. Let's see UFD over here. The old royalty-free track list I used to use doesn't work anymore. It gets pinged for all sorts of stuff. So I gotta try using that. It's a little too loud still, though. Actually, it might be less loud to you guys. Let me see. That's about perfect. Okay, cool. We got a lot of news going for you guys today. We're going to be talking about some. Oh, let me actually get my articles ready for when we switch over to that. Recky in the house. What's up, Rec? Hopefully, you all are doing well. I'm still getting. I still gotta like maybe work on how my camera is placed and stuff because I don't know. I'm still not completely happy with it since redoing it a little bit. I need to work on it a little bit. You're sick. Yeah, I heard you talking about it. So we're joking about the negative air pressure room and all sorts of stuff. Well, hopefully you're not feeling too terrible. And if you are, go get Robitussin honey. Surprisingly, it works well. But I don't know what you're sick with, so. But that's the stuff we keep seeking out now. Robitussin honey. It seems to really shorten the length of times of certain things, like colds. Well, good to have you all. Let's talk about the tech news. So, as some of you may or may not know, today was the last day of Computex. And actually, let me make that font bigger over here. Ah, perfect. Today was the last day of Computex, and there's been stuff coming out during the week. We've released a handful of shorts, and those shorts have been doing, I don't know, just fine, I guess. That was me, FYI, in case you guys are wondering. But we were talking about in our shorts videos. Bring it on over here. Shorts. Best retro cases are coming out of Silverstone. They're doing some cool stuff with retro case design and making it completely usable easily with modern parts, which I'm a big fan of what they're doing in regards to that. Thermal Right making more moves, expanding what they're going to do in the AIO space while also deciding to enter the case space. So that's going to be interesting. Thermal Right cases. They've never done that before. It's a company that's been around a long time, but they have never done that before. So this is going to be awesome to see. I can't wait to see more on Thermal Right cases. I love that Silverstone, right? That FLP02 is sick. The FLP01 is also really awesome if you want a horizontal laying case. But yeah, the FLP02, more standard vertical tower kind of deal. Love it. Reminds you of your first custom PC that you built. Awesome. I think my first one was in a Raid Max knockoff case. First one that I built, that is, which was actually my third computer, but first one that I built was in a Chief Tech case. So Antec knockoff, but yeah, you know, it was like aluminum and steel. It was nice. Full tower sized. Yeah. And then on another short we published about Computex is that Montech is deciding to step up to Thermal Right as well. They're going to be working on releasing budget air coolers. So we're going to be getting a lot of competition in the budget air cooler market, seeing hopefully how that goes. Good luck to them. A brand like Scythe, which is also an old brand that made inexpensive high-performance coolers, is struggling. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. AMD is also releasing the 9060 XT 8 gig and 16 gig. That was talked about a bit at Computex. So looking forward to those, well, the 16 gig at least, and hoping that AMD can play their cards properly to have the same kind of time that they've had on the CPU side of things, and really start to build up into the kind of market share that realistically they've never really had. They've never had huge graphics card market share. Nvidia has dominated that forever, but Nvidia is in the shitter right now, so they absolutely need to capitalize on the fact that Nvidia is dropping the ball, so to speak. That's cool. Hopefully we can see that happen. And that's just coverage from the shorts that I had put out. We got some more to talk about now here at the end of Computex. Something just came out. Speaking of Nvidia and their trash reputation right now, the Nvidia GPU, the 5060 series, not just the Ti and not just the regular 5060, any 5060 GPU, they're already releasing a firmware update tool for them. Now, this is good to see. This is actually a good thing, but the optics and the signaling of it, not so much. You just released these GPUs and you're already having to release a firmware update tool, a VBIOS update tool for your graphics cards. This is not the kind of thing that run-of-the-mill average users are particularly comfortable with running. I have used these tools before. They're actually quite easy to use. So it's nothing crazy in that regards. But, tell some guy like, hey, who has like a 5060 Ti, who's having black screen issues when restarting the computer, power cycling, waking from sleep, and stuff like that. Tell them, hey, update the VBIOS on your graphics card, and they're just gonna stare at you like, what? This is what the heck is all I have to say to that. Just ridiculous. Let me get my prompter stuff up because I have my news stuff up there. We can go to text. Okay, cool. Nvidia has already released the VBIOS. Yeah, already releasing. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great that they're doing that. Again, doesn't send a good message. So Radeon has to capitalize here. So does Intel. Intel and Radeon need to team up. They need to freaking shake hands and just power through Nvidia right now, because just push them off to the side and make Nvidia sit in the corner and think about what they've done, because that's 5000 series and the way they're treating customers now, and the way they're treating pricing, and the way they're so full of themselves in terms of the performance metrics that they communicate out to people versus what it really is. It's too much now, and I think they finally crossed the line, so to speak, where now it seems like everybody hates them. Look at the media right now. There's no real positivity for Nvidia right now, unless you're maybe a stockholder or a shareholder or whatever, or unless you're somebody that can stand to benefit from them making lots of money. But you're people that know Nvidia as the gaming GPU company. I'm not the first person to say this, but we're all meaningless to them right now. They're just throwing crumbs. They're like, here you go, whatever. AI, graphics, here you go, whatever. Okay. So yes, GPU firmware update tool. If you've gotten a 5060, which you probably don't have, but if you have, get this. If you had a 5060 Ti, get this. You're gonna need this utility, so make sure you have that. And run the install on it, and hopefully it should help with any black screen issues that you're having. Moving on, we have this company called Trikes. I think I've heard people call them Trikes. So let's talk about Trikes for a second. I like calling them Tricks. Tricks is a good name for them. They're putting screens on everything, and not just little screens. They're putting big screens on everything. But it also looks like they've solved the issue. I had the wrong thing up. Wait, what? There's my text. Let's see. It also looks like they solved the issue that old aesthetic cases used to have, where the front fans were just up against glass with no ability to intake. It looks like they have a solution to that. Landley has one too, but we're gonna get to that a little later. So it looks like they might have a solution to that with something from the server world, something called the crossflow fan. And so let's talk about that. So now that we're on here, this is the crossflow fan. That fan right there will just plug into the side. This is where cases that had covered fronts used to intake. They had that small little vertical slat on the side. That's all. The only way they'd be able to pull air. And now they decided, hey, what if we take one of these vertical spinning fans? This is what I used to know as a squirrel cage fan, but I guess we're gonna call it something else. What did they call it? A crossflow fan. And we put it in that same spot. And lo and behold, it actually does the trick. At least it seems like it should do the trick. Look at this. Now, I've seen this used in servers and even some laptop cooling pad type of things. They do move air. They do work. Oh, I think a mini PC used it, like a Dan case or something like that, used one of these. Yeah, but they do get the job done. And look at that. When you integrate it into a case, it comes out looking pretty good. Oh, this is more of the screen stuff. We'll get to that in a second. So you have the crossflow fan paired with front fans. And if you have mesh or even just something a little less restrictive than mesh that looks good, like this, I don't know, carpet looking material, you win. You now have the best of both worlds, moving air in your case. And all it took was borrowing tech from another sector, essentially. I think it maybe took altogether too long for this to become a solution in the front of cases when you wanted a flat aesthetic front of your case. This should have been thought of a long time ago. So finally, up-and-comer company Trikes, whatever, they're doing it. But they're also putting screens on everything. Look at that, a corner spanning screen. I hope you can treat that as two separate zones because, well, I guess maybe it can just be one zone and you can resize windows within it. But they got the same thing going over here. Easiest solution, just taking off the panels. Yeah, but it's not as nice. And then you have to not lose the panels or remember not to sit on them, or hopefully they don't break if wherever you put them. Less to worry about with their solution, you know? They're going to continue going the big screen, a big curved screen on the cooler. So there's that. That's what they're known for right now, that in a case that sort of matches the aesthetic, because the cooler has that 90-degree turn, and then the bend, and then the glass case has that bend in the same exact orientation, and then the bottom does. So it's like congruent to that. So we'll see how that works out for them. There's a closer look at the screen in the bottom corner. It's kind of neat. Put some temperature and performance information on it, you know, customization and all that. Yeah, that's it. The sitting or kicking part is always hard, right? That's the thing. It's always take off the panel, but then, man, you got to know where it's at. Make sure you don't sit on it. Make sure you don't break it. All that. The 90 turn is the most Samsung Edge Apple Air thing I've ever seen. Like, why bend it? Because it looks cool. Duh. To some people. I'm not sure what those are. Some corner covers. Oh, maybe that's what's going to go there if you don't get the screen module. Canali is their control software. So that's cool. So Trikes is doing some cool stuff. Trikes. Anybody want to correct me on that? They're doing some cool stuff. Look at the big screens that they're putting on air coolers. They're getting into the air cooler space too, but they're not just doing it all simple, nimbly bimbly, whatever. They're putting a 5-inch screen on an air cooler. Mid-size meat man. What in the world is a computer? He says. He could say that. He could say that unironically. Computex is a giant tech event like CES that happens in Las Vegas every year, but this is a bigger tech event that happens in Taiwan. One day we'll be able to just kidding. It's never going to happen. We're never going to be able to go. So I'm just going to talk about it from a distance and then go to CES where everybody who talks about Computex says it's so much better than CES, even though CES is the American version of it. Why didn't we go? it would probably cost $4,000 or $5,000 a person, and okay, we can't really support that. Wouldn't make sense financially any way you cut it. So problem. Did you see Amazon has been refunding people recently for past refunds they didn't completely follow through on? I got $250 refund for S22 I returned and never got the refund for. What? Well, make sure you get your refunds. I'm not going to see jack because I always make sure I get my money back. Nothing makes sense financially. It all adds up. But yes, 5-inch screens on your air coolers. Whoo, boy. Nah, I fought tooth and nail for that refund. They couldn't find it. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So there's no dinky little screen, but the way they're doing it makes me mad that it's not just all screen. Like, why? It's a screen that's getting split in half. Like, this entire rectangle, square has 2 rectangles in it. Is there going to be a dual screen version? Maybe. I think they should do a dual screen version so it's all screen, right? What is this half screen thing? That's gonna be a 6 heat pipe dual tower air cooler. It'll perform probably pretty solidly. 3 years later, after a lawsuit, they're mass returning people for overcharge. Man, well, good thing you got your money back. What are you gonna do with it? So looking forward to seeing that. Here's another picture on that with fingerprint smudges all over it. Again, I'm not digging the fact that it's only half of the square. Anybody agree with me on that? Also, look at this. They are releasing these air coolers. I believe this is an AIO thing. I believe they're calling these the Stage. Yeah, see? Stage. It has 2 4-inch screens on it. And you can place your like little models or whatever you want on it, and it would be like essentially a stage for them. You can have stats on the screen, a cool little background for them, and your little character on there, and it'll be a spot inside your case for you to show off cool little trinkets. I think this is kind of neat, and it's actually not the only kind of product at Computex that has this kind of feature or function. I think I might have more in the news here. So I think that's pretty awesome too. I feel Midsize Meat Man thinks it's probably pretty cool too. He can put a little Binding of Isaac character on his little computer stage, or maybe Lego or something. Silly split screen unless it's modular. I don't think this is gonna end up being modular. Funko Pops can go on there. I think for people that are about like really dressing up and accessorizing the aesthetics of their case, this is gonna be a big deal. For your average builder, is going to be wholly unnecessary and kind of weird. But that's okay, because as long as having this doesn't take away the standard choices for the rest of us, by all means, this is going to be cool for, I don't know, celebrity show-off builds, if you want to do something like that, or big streamer builds, stuff like that. Do you see that PC with the car shop inside of it? I didn't. Can you link it somewhere? You're on Twitch. You can link it right there. I don't have that stuff blocked off or anything. It's nothing abnormal. The bending screens feels thick. Yeah. So this is kind of neat. Have a little trinket in there, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even have to fit within it. Obviously, look at this. It's like hanging off of it. So this is part of an AIO. That's going to be the top of the pump, essentially. So you mount that to basically the center of your computer. Neato, I guess. Moving on. Next chat segment. We'll bring that up here. We'll go there, and then we can do that. PC cooling company Scythe is closing down European operations as they face bankruptcy issues. I've always liked Scythe. Great products. They weren't overpriced at all, either, in my opinion. So, I don't know, man. It's weird. I always consider them like the budget Noctua, but the budget Noctua. But chalk it up to Thermalright. Competition isn't for everyone. But it does make me sad. Look, Scythe makes some good products. They've always made good products, and there was never like too expensive. I'll click that here in a second. It was never ridiculously, outrageously priced. It was always solid products, good fans, good coolers. And like I said, to me, they were like Noctua, but they cost less. Especially in like their, they weren't all about dressing up their stuff, putting screens on it, plastic caps, or all sorts of weirdness. You got cool looking coolers that were, let's call it industrial looking. You can see, well, I guess they had some kind of caps on the end of the heat pipes, but not like a big plastic cover, like a luxury car engine, you know, something like that. It doesn't look like they're gonna be gone. As long as Thermalright is alive, we're okay. I think it's, for us, it's nice having options, but for average consumer, they're all buying Lanley. I don't know about that. But yes, it looks like they're just going to close down their EU operations. Japanese company Scythe operates here, says it operates in Europe through its Scythe EU GmbH division located in Germany. Past few years, there's been significant increase in the popularity of budget CPU coolers from lesser known or unbranded Chinese manufacturers. We're talking PC cooler up here, stuff like that, not Thermalright. At the same time, many of these models are clones of fakes of well-known brands, including Scythe's own designs. Such coolers often imitate the design style and even the name of premium CPU coolers, but at a much lower price. This makes them, I mean, like a $50 Scythe cooler was never a crazy problem. Like even now, $50 8 heat pipe Scythe cooler is not an obscene amount of money. You can get a Thermalright for maybe $10 cheaper. That's that big of a cooler. So I think that they're competitive still, but I don't know. When you get down to those kinds of dollars and cents, I guess if it's cheaper flat out, they win. Period. So let's hope that Scythe can hang in there and we continue to see them in the market, because it's not a good sign. Does not look good that they're closing down some operations, but hey, maybe they've done the math and they just know that they need to close down the operations, but they'll be okay in the long run. Fingers crossed. All right, let's check this out. Okay. Artist clean his bill. Oh, dude. That is sick. Using the tricks. Full of miniatures. Dude, he made it a whole mechanics garage. Yo, Brett, what's up? Oh, and he has the cars and the lifts in there? That's amazing. Got chains in there too, little stair steps, all that. Let's play it one more time. The other CPU cooler would have been better with the car at the center. Yeah, for sure. That would have been better. It is the same company too. Because now they just have a screen there that doesn't. It just sort of out of place. That is awesome. I really hope they have a positive pressure air config, because that shit's gonna get dusty. If it's negative pressure, that is. That is awesome, dude. Oh, they do have another screen with just cars racing on it. That's cool. A Ferrari, dude. Sick. That's a great one. Sick. Thank you. You can never move that computer though. That's it. It's over. If you're gonna move it anywhere, even just to clean it, you got to take everything out and then move it and then put it all back in. But I guess in that case, if you're gonna clean it, you want to take everything out anyways to clean it. Dust is humanity's worst nightmare. My laptop is caked in dust. Damn, dude, clean that shit. Okay, next item. All right, we got Corsair on the list here. Corsair is trying something new and adding baffles and sort of air guides in their cases to optimize airflow and sound and things like that. I think this is going to be the next evolution of case development, if I'm being honest. 3D printed solutions like this exist, and it's proven to work, but also cars and all sorts of other industries do this. Like it's not unusual. Even in computers, companies like HP with their Z workstations have baffles guiding air wherever they need, over the RAM, onto the CPU, over the main board, over the GPU. That's all inside the case. It's big plastic shrouds you pull out of the case when you take those sorts of things apart. And what they're doing here, look at this. Look at this. This is, can I maximize that? Look at that. This is awesome. People always complain, oh, you put the AIO radiator, water cooling radiator in the front of the case and it's going to blow hot air into the rest of the computer. Bleh. Check this out. You put a baffle, and this is, to me, this is straight out of the automotive industry. If you ever put a cold air intake in your car, if you did a good one, it has a heat shield on it that helps keep the heat from the engine getting over to where the air cooler's at. Sorry, the air filter. And that makes sense, right? But you never see that happen in computers. It's just a radiator, and if your radiator's on an intake, you're pulling in that air, it's turning the air hot and dumping it into the case, and you better hope your exhaust fans are actually bringing that air up and out of the computer case. Otherwise, you're just heat soaking everything inside the case. Not necessarily a bad thing. All the parts in your computer are made at higher temperatures than whatever you're going to get just, running stuff inside of it. But it's just, this idea has been a long time coming. And for a manufacturer to finally adopt this idea into a off-the-shelf, putting it out there, case design, awesome. A little unfortunate is Corsair. If I'm being honest, they're a little expensive. It's going to be like, wow, well, this is boutique. This is nice. This is different. $300 for this case. So it's going to be something like that. Maybe not, if we're lucky. But this is just one example of like how the baffle is going to be. You can kind of see it here. The baffle is guiding any hot air drawn from the radiator on the right side here this way. And I would assume that you eventually put exhaust fans here. So then air will get pulled in and immediately pulled back out, and this baffle will keep any of that air from going forward into the rest of the case, heating your parts up. If we look here, we have there's also chambers. It's a multi-chamber design, is what it is. He's soaking my entire room, my laptop. Yeah. Now this looks like it's not a radiator. You mount your fans here, and it looks like maybe you install your radiator from the top, if you have one that way. In this case, the radiator's on the side. Is Aladdin, I have a question. Are you able to answer? Sure. Ask your question. So, dual chamber, the right side is separated, especially by baffles and other things, from the left side. So heat you draw in from the radiator just passes through an entire side of the case that is separate from the main side of the case. So the left side of the case here is going to be getting air. Looks like these fans are on exhaust for some reason. Maybe they're reverse blade fans. So what I would want is cool air to suck in from the bottom here, push into the GPU, and then exhaust out the top. Maybe even have an exhaust fan in the back. You want to experiment with pressure setups here. 3 in the bottom as intake and 3 in the bottom as exhaust, and you have neutral pressure. You can even make the back one an intake, so you'd have 4 intakes, 3 exhausts, and you have positive pressure and less dust. And then the top exhaust ones just take that heat away. And that should be good for blowing over the VRMs and I/O over here if you put a rear one as an exhaust. So that's nice. This dual chamber design, I hope that takes off, because it's going to be dual chambers and more than just how your parts go into the case. It'll be dual chamber with the idea of airflow and how that crosses over things. Love it. Okay, so Zlatan has a question. He said, what? I have no idea. If Dr. Rich Tofin will reach Agartha once again and bring back the Primus and the Ultimus crew. The Ultimus. What is this in reference to? The Primus crew part sounds familiar. That's all I got, though. Okay. Let's go back over here. Oops, wrong tab. Okay. Next item. Now, Lanli is releasing the LanCool 4. And I talked about this a little bit earlier on how to get front fans able to breathe through the front of a case that's completely sealed off effectively. Lan Lee has an answer. I don't know if you want to call it the answer. Let's talk about that. So, Gamers Nexus has the best sort of coverage about it, but this is the idea here is that it looks like you are going to be putting subwoofer speakers on your case. These are fans, but they look like speakers, like they mount through a box. Michael T, welcome. And I just think it's funny because like this is a solution and obviously works, makes perfect sense. You put the mesh on the outside, but they end up looking like your computer has speakers on it, like in the funniest kind of neatest way. It's a look, it's a solution for sure. Gets the job done, and you will definitely guaranteed have flow, like no problem. So I think it's a good solution. I find it an interesting thing for them to do. I can't wait to see this tested, but how else can, like, the only downside here that I can see from Lan Lee is that it uses their fans. Like it's going to use fans that are specific to that case. If we look at it here, not the side, that's not a new kind of feature. Let's see. Are there? He showed it from the front earlier. But whatever the case is, we're back here. So yes, that looks like very specific fans that will have to go there, and you may not be able to do anything about it. Now you see him holding it over there. That's the CEO of Lan Lee. Doof. The people from like, no idea. Couldn't tell you. Rip your wallet after fans start getting noisy 4 years later. Oh, hopefully they got a lifetime warranty. Although I guess that'd be normal wear and tear, so it wouldn't matter. But let's see. Does he pop them out? Let's see. How do they pop out? Yeah, that's specific to that. Hopefully.
Different ways. So this one or the 217 Infinity use a different mechanic. This one.
Okay. Well, we hope to see other fan options if this becomes a case trend. As it is, I think it's neat because it kind of crosses, it's different looking and it's functional. What more can you ask for case differentiation? You know what I'm talking about? I think that's cool. I think that's super cool, super neat. Okay. So let's bring this up a little bit. Cool. Next item. Cooler Master is continuing going after the modular case ideas with new cases. This is something that was talked about a lot at Computex. They have cases where you can really move stuff around within it and build it a very, however way you want. If you needed things to be deeper, you can have the motherboard tray get pushed further in or out, however you'd like, and rearrange it. They've been doing that sort of trend for a while. People don't really talk about it. Most of the time, you get a case, you're going to fit your parts into it, and you're not really going to want to move stuff around. I like the idea of that flexibility, but I too would not be able to immediately make a choice based on that. I'd still be looking at other functions. But hey, if something changes and you could just rearrange your case internally in order to accommodate those changes, that's when it will matter. That's when it will pay off to have something like that. They're also going to be coming out with 30 millimeter thick fans, which is better for radiators. You got more pressure with that. And let's see, they're also coming out with cases that let you display things in front, like little stages, kind of like what I talked about earlier. Look at that. Now look at that. Would you look at that? You got a screen behind it, and you got a little stage, little spot. It even has little spotlights on the top. That's pretty cool. That's another take on the idea that Trix has with their AIO mini stage. This is the big stage version. And I think this might take off a little bit more than the Trix one because it lets you have a bigger variation of sizes featured on the stage, and you can have a little screen in the back that makes it look even cooler. Like, this is going to be sick for photos. When people do stuff with this as showcase builds, this is going to look, especially if you get nice and close up with it and do close-ups, sick. It's going to be a great looking photo and highlight for whatever these cases get used for. So I think that's awesome. And then over in the air cooler space, they're doing something with heat pipes. Normal heat pipes that look like this would just be a U shape, but they're sticking heat pipes in the middle of these, essentially adding more cooling capacity to heat pipe systems. And it does look like it's supposed to drop temperatures. And let's see if I can get a picture of a cooler that has it. This one, this has heat pipes going up the center of the fin stack. That's the whole thing. That's the whole catch. They're going to be releasing new coolers that have performance of bigger coolers, but only because that they use additional heat pipes. Now, this is too long in the making, if you ask me. Heat pipes have been the same for, I don't know, over a decade at least. Sure, they vary in size and thickness and all that stuff, but this is a new take on it. So bravo, Cooler Master. It's going to be sick to see a Hyper 212 have the cooling capacity of an 8 heat pipe cooler, while not having to be a giant chunky ass cooler. That's the part that I like. I'm not a huge fan of super giant coolers. I start to get uncomfortable when they're bigger than, say, a Hyper 212, a standard 4 heat pipe cooler. But if you stick these in it, what would be a 4 heat pipe cooler will become essentially what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, a 6 heat pipe cooler in the same size, the same envelope, and you have better cooling capacity because now you're using more of the fin stack, not just the outsides where the heat pipes go through, but also the center. That's awesome. This is going to be great, and I can't wait to see more improvements on this and more talks about reviews and temperatures and all that sort of stuff. I think that is awesome. It's interesting. Let's go back over to chat. It's great to see the invitation in case design and innovation in case design and layout still happening. Everyone went down the Lanley 011 design for. I like my 011 dynamic. But yes, it is good to see that because it's kind of taking that idea of a showcase front, because I use mine to put my sticker and be able to look through, but also have my show off of Coalition Gaming on there. It has like a frosted glass CG logo on it. I love it. But then what if you can just be a screen and you can set things on it? Awesome. I'd put like 3D printed models and stuff on it, whatever I wanted to show off at that point in time. Or sure, you can do action figures or collectibles and all sorts of stuff. It's really awesome to see. Just seeing glass with perforations and fans as only moving parts. Yes, absolutely. Cooler Master with their heat pipe CPU cooler design and new budget-friendly cases were my favorite of the show. Yeah, heavily into ITX, so I love my compact coolers. Same. I had to cut it close with a Zalman. Oh, I forgot the name of the cooler, but I have a Zalman cooler that's super RGB'd out, but the reason I got it was the top plastic plate is RGB'd out. I like the lighting. I can set it to whatever color I want, but I like the fact that it lights up and it's on a plate. It's not just like some weird little thing. So when it's horizontal in the case, it faces you and it lights up completely. It's not whatever little thing. And I was unsure if it was going to fit in the Lanley TU150 case that I have. I love my TU150 with that integrated handle and everything. I have a TU150 mini ITX build that has a Core i7-11850H 8-core 16-thread processor. And that 11850H is from a laptop. This is one of those funny ones. The funny integrated CPU, laptop CPU on motherboard things from China. This one's, the brand is called Airing. I got it from AliExpress. I got that paired with an RTX 3070, and that thing just kicks butt. Love it. NZXT version is nicer. It's lighter. Which NZXT version of what? What was that? Kryptonic? Which thing? The H9? The case? What? What about it? It doesn't have any showy offy stuff other than just being a pretty cool case in general. The curve, I guess. Not really a curve. It's a 90. Yeah, 90. Oh, but with all the perforation and stuff? Oh, I see. Yeah, that's I mean, this is one of their nicer cases for sure. But it's definitely that's an 011. You at a glance, that's an 011 dynamic. Yeah, those airing combos and CPU mobiles sometimes RAM are very good value, right? I love it. I like that case with 011s has bottom and top support for fans without any maneuvering. What? I have a radiator in the very bottom of my case with 2 fans on it. And it's the 011 dynamic, literally. Radiator in the bottom, and a radiator in the side. So I got a 360 and a 240 with fans, and then 3 fans on the top as exhaust. So I have 5 fans intake, 3 fans exhaust, positive pressure, and this thing does not get very dusty. That's awesome. 25 doesn't have the bottom bracket. There's no bottom bracket. You can just put fans on the bottom. Or you can just screw in radiators in the bottom. I don't know. I don't know, man. H9 the bottom support without a bracket. I got no brackets. It all just mounted. I don't know. Yeah. I have a 240 with fans on it. And the fans, a 240 mil rad with fans. And so the fans attach to the radiator, but the radiator screws just right in to the bottom of the case. I don't know. Holes where I would just just directly install fans too. Yeah, it has holes right there, fan holes directly in the metal on the bottom of the case in this 011 Dynamic. So I could have just put fans directly on there too if I wanted to. I don't know what to tell you. All right, and let's move on here. We're gonna circle back to Nvidia, my friends, because right now everybody hates Nvidia, as if their behavior over the last few years wasn't on a downward enough spiral. The RTX 5060 review debacle has finally turned everyone against them. They're making people review a specific way if they wanted drivers, and if you didn't want to do it their way, they didn't give you a card, even if they did give you a card, they wouldn't give you the driver. So what's the point? And all sorts of other stuff. Just treating the market like trash. The people that made them, essentially. The 5060 8 gig is basically just a rebadge 4060 Ti 8 gig in terms of performance. It really should outperform more than just the previous one. That was 1 generation better. I think it always should be 2 steps above the same version from before, not just 1 step up. What's the point? It's a little annoying like that. But to make things worse, the 5060 Ti 8 gig even sometimes runs so bad that the 5060 non-Ti 8 gig catches it. Why is that even happening? Why is that shouldn't be happening? Like, what's the... Like, how? How could you let that happen? Let's support it. I had the DEBACLE 11D. Just checked. Yeah, mine is too. Mine says DEBACLE. It has the badge in the back of it. It just drives me nuts, dude. Like, imagine buying a 5060 Ti just to find out that a regular 5060 can catch it in some games. The 5060 Ti is like $500. Hey, you're here in Taipei right now? Dude, sick. How you liking it? Did you go to Computex and all that? I mean, of course you had to have. That's my guess. Why wouldn't you at this time of year? Right? I agree with Nvidia separating the business and GeForce division so that gamers get a better... Yes, that needs to happen. At this point, Nvidia needs to become the AI company, and GeForce should just branch off, and go do their own thing and make gamers happy again. That'd be great. Everybody would love that. Nobody would argue with that. Buying GPUs in 37, touch of 40, 50 in 1 year. Yeah, it's rainy as hell. Oh, monsoon weather, huh? Well, that is so sick that I have somebody who's there now in chat right now. So thank you for stopping by. Any tips if I ever make it out there? I don't know. Like, I don't know what to ask you right now. I want to be like, damn, what's the coolest thing that you've done? How about that? Tell me that. Was a good show though in terms of participation. I like to hear that. Got a 1080 Ti for $40 the other day, and I felt like $1 million. Dude, nice. Good budget build thing. Roblox and such. Although my nephew got Doom: The Dark Ages, and then when he loaded up the game, it did not load. I didn't realize this, but Doom: The Dark Ages has a mandatory ray tracing requirement. You cannot launch the game without ray tracing. And his computer has a 980 Ti in it, and it can play everything at 1080p just fine, no problem. Fortunately, I have an RTX 2080 sitting there. You can see it, the overhead camera over there. So we're going to be swapping that 980 Ti out, and we're going to give it a big old upgrade with a 2080, and then I'll be able to play Doom: The Dark Ages. Let's go. Grape chasing. What? Just too busy. You need to know where to go, or you just get lost. Oh, probably the parties with the companies are usually very invested. This one, the Gigabyte was crazy in terms of food and live show. Yes, the parties. That sounds cool. When I did CES in 2019, I think I went into one of the parties that they throw during the day for Dell, and that was sick. I was with my wife, and she's like, "This is CES," and we're just walking around looking at stuff. And she goes, "I thought it'd be cooler than this." And then we went to the Dell thing, and she goes, "This is what I'm talking about. This is what I thought it was gonna be like." So there it is. Yeah, I just haven't done enough of that kind of thing in order to. Oh, let me move that over there. In order to really, go back and check. I want to check that stuff out, right? I'm pulling up your channel right now, Mr. Rotor. Subscribe. But I don't like notifications. I always just do that. I'll go down my list. Look at that. Let's look at some of your stuff here. Unmute.
From Cooler Master, you're looking at the Master Liquid Atmosphere.
Oh, I did see this.
Basically, this new cooling has an interesting design, and it's really easy to install because
Very
all the
nice
fans
looking
are
color on the
based on
fans.
one unit. But more than that, you can see here that you can
Swappable
change the
plate.
plates on it,
One with
and
screens,
once you
one's
change
with
the plates, move
just
that one,
pass-through
you can
colors.
install other plates with whether it's information about
I like
the
this
cooling
idea.
status or just like a screen on it. We have anything we can.
The fact that they might be able to expand this to do that into fan hubs. Imagine having swappable fan hub plates.
It's still from Cooler Master, and it has a
Because I know Lanley did screens on the fan hubs, so there's a precedent for that.
From Cooler Master, it's the Master Liquid.
The Atmos 2. DLSS 4 was the best innovation by Nvidia with noticeably improved image quality and clarity. I agree, so was FSR 4. It's weird that the 4 has made it super good, super nice. Good, it's just too big. No problem with the part. Okay, cool. It should probably equal $40. That wouldn't be too terrible. I mean, it's a little pricey if you get a bunch, but realistically, you're not going to do that many. I gave it to my brother and I took back the 2600 98 Ti and sold 90 Ti. How much did you sell your 98 Ti for? Yeah, he has a cool banner. Let's see. Hey, look at that. He's multiple man. I like it. You got all sorts of tech in there. So was your thing sort of FPV and drones and stuff to begin with, and you just kind of went out into more tech? Hey, this is a weird time where I'm with Nvidia being the bad guy. Praise them and love them for NVENC, and now they just turned around and shot us in the foot. Yeah. Acer Swift Edge. I didn't get to see too much about laptop stuff. Let's see.
Acer's Swift Edge 14 AI. This is an
Just open my video for the 5060 Zotac mini GPU when your video jumped on me. Nice. Million years ago. Oh shit. Now you can just be like Rotor Tech.
What I want to show you is that it basically can rotate 180 degrees all the way. It has the lunar
Nice hinge.
CPU on
Okay.
it, and it's also very lightweight.
Modern Intel CPUs have great integrated graphics now. Who would have thought? Oh, matte Gorilla Glass? I like it.
Anytime soon. It feels very good on the hands when typing, and I'm really
Solid
excited
build
to
is what it
test
sounds like.
Basically, you get a portable powerhouse, up to 32 gig color, and a big trackpad.
Yeah. Cool. You love to see stuff like that. Matte Gorilla Glass. Actually a good name. Thanks. Hey. 22K with the motherboard, RAM, and case. I have $75 as well. For like, oh wait, posted for $75, expected 50, and you got 60 for a 980 Ti. Huh, I might want to sell it too.
This is a really cool.
Or just use it as decor. It doesn't matter to me. The money's not gonna do much for me.
It's called GX Gaming. And
GX Gaming Speedmaster X1. Has this got force feedback? Looks like it does. A vibrating wheel, but does that mean force feedback?
That basically lets you change the angle of rotation, so you can definitely do something that I haven't seen before, which is changing between 270 degrees.
Like changing the steering ratio, right? So you can like almost like sensitivity. Is that what I'm thinking?
Now this wheel comes as a full kit.
Nope. Oh, so just vibration feedback, not force feedback. Boo. 600 X10 Ti gets my brother 200 FPS. Myself a 4090 and a 97 XT, and the S4 has the slight edge in terms of upscale quality. Still, we'll see some noticeable improvements. RT. Yeah, but finally AMD is catching up, and they're making leaps and bounds while they do it. So I hope they keep on jumping, not just incrementally, just steps, just hopping, and until they're finally super equivalent. Not just a little behind, but the same, if not better. Low cost? Ah, damn. I had the Asus Strix 3X fan version. I wanted to hold on to it. Yeah, the 90 Ti we have is the Zotac, and it's like the second or top #1 fastest factory overclock model. So that's nice. Picked up a Stream Deck Ultra for $50. Wow. Yeah. We need AI smart self-driving for gaming now. Imagine you put a bunch of robot hands on it and they do the steering for you. Oh, I like that it has the gear shifter as like little tiny little clamp thing and not some big gear shift box thing you gotta put on a whole rig next to you. Still sealed and everything. Nice. What do we got here? Ads. Maono. I've done a few videos for them. I love to see these microphones. I have one of these like from Fifine. They perform great. I gave it to a buddy of mine. Yeah, like I love the fact that they have their charging case and really make it really easy to charge them up and carry them around and all that. They generally sound pretty great and perform good. So like it's kind of, you know, whatever. Yeah. Brett says Kryptonic, good job. Yeah, dude. Pay the money, walk away. That could be secret millionaire. Yeah, Maono is pretty good. I like them.
Today, finally,
ooh.
my S25 Ultra from Samsung is not gonna be.
Oh, there's not Computex anymore though. UAG classic. That takes me back.
I love the bluish color.
Well, very good, man. I wish you the best of luck with your channel, and keep on kicking butt. You have very good performance in your videos. In your videos. Although it looks like your long form videos, you're not doing too many of them, but you are doing shorts, and really that's where the push is right now. And they're performing, you know, okay-ish. I'd call that okay-ish for small channels like us. About 1,000 views, you know, and then something pops off, awesome. You love it when something pops off, right? Boya's all right as well. Well, very good, very good. That's all the news that I have. I wonder if Linus Tech Tips is still going. They were live from Taiwan earlier for the WAN show, and it looks like the show is running long. It looks like they finally ended stream though. So cool. Let's turn that up a little bit. There we go. Jeez, the music was way quiet. How long were we live on YouTube for? About an hour, right? Ooh, is my stream skipping a little bit? I'm getting weird. How's the stream smoothness been for you guys? Any skipping, any audio issues, video issues, anything like that? Stream skipping? It's dropped a little bit of frames. It's weird. Respect to all creators out there. As regardless of size, you have to start from the bottom, work your way up for like all large creators. Indeed. Thanks for the channel review, buddy. I wouldn't call it a review. I'm just talking from a similar perspective to yours. It's a long journey. Let me hear there for a second or so. Okay, well, I'm gonna probably. Oh, geez, that was a big drop. I'm seeing it go up and down all over the place. That's rough. Let's play with the bitrate a little bit. All right, I lowered it about 1,000 kilobits per second. Hopefully that could help stabilize it. That's awesome, by the way, Mr. Rotordeal, that you made the trip out there and you got to enjoy Computex. And I'm jealous of you, if I'm being honest. I think that is super cool. Hopefully the weather didn't beat you up too badly. I know that this time of year is pretty rough out there. And I live in an area where it gets 110 to 115-ish degrees Fahrenheit, even hotter inside the cars. Like, you know, when you first get in your car and it's been outside all day. Oh, yeah. And that kind of heat with the stoppage jitters. Thank you. Yeah, I lowered the bit rate and it seems to have helped. But yeah, like heavy humidity and heat is another monster. I felt that when I vacationed in Hawaii for my my honeymoon, and it was just something else. But I can deal with it pretty decently. So, but that was not 100 degrees. You know, not even, it wasn't even 90. It was like 80 degrees, 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Hope to see you here next year, my friend. Pretty easy with the sponsorships. Let me know if you need help with that. I'm also on IG on Copter Deal. Cool. I'll have to go find you. It was sponsorships that help you out? Nah, I guess we can talk about that later on. Paul ZD. Missed most of the chat. Been downloading games. Wonder if PC with 9400F would be a good flip. Yes, it would. 9400F and, I don't know, 6600 XT. Like, personally hate humidity, then heat. Imagine both. Oof. High humidity and high heat. Ouchies. You're going to have trouble breathing. All right, what's the team doing? So this is where the party's at. He flipped over to YouTube. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. News is over. Thank you all for hanging out. If you want to keep hanging out, and we're gonna play some video games, and I'm always available to answer questions, chit chat, and just do the Twitch thing then. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here for YouTube. Thanks again, everybody, and feel free to join me over on the Twitch channel. Let me link that for you all, in case you weren't following over there. Let's see. Humidity here is really crazy. Approximately 85%. That is too much. Too much. I'd die. Just kidding. I can deal with it. It just feels icky all day long, huh? Yeah, yuck. All right, I will catch you guys in the next video or the next stream. If you're on YouTube, head on over to Twitch to keep the party going. I'll see you over there. And for those of you on Twitch, the stream is going to blip out and then back in. So just bear with me.